Okay, today's video is all about the transmission filter and gasket. I'm about to change the transmission filter on my 2005 Cadillac STS, the V8 model. A couple months ago I did a transmission change and I didn't do the filter. Now I'm about to change the filter. Let me show you what you need. Obviously you need something to catch the fluid. I have this is just a 10mm socket. I have two ratchets, one for the Torx bit, one with an extension for 10mm to take the pan off. On the pan you have roughly 30 10mm bolts, and for my particular vehicle I need a T40 Torx bit. I have two. This one is for the drain plug. This one is for the fuel plug. If you don't have access to putting the fuel plug back in, if you can't take the fuel plug out and put the fuel plug back in, do not drain your transmission fluid. These two, if you don't have access to them, I'll leave links where I got them. So, I also have a mask because I don't want to smell any of the fluid. Okay, before I show you just where the transmission bolts are and everything, let me stress, do not drain your transmission fluid unless you can take off your fuel plug. Because if you can't take your fuel plug off and put fluid back in, and you drain your transmission fluid, you're in trouble. Okay, what I did, I have my car jacked up on ramps, and then I have wood under the ramps just to give me some more clearance, and I have both tires blocked. Okay, coming up under the car, here's the engine, the bottom of the engine. Here's the oil filter. Here's your transmission. Here's the transmission pan. The transmission pan sits right between your two exhaust pipes. Here's one, here's the other. And here's your drain plug. And right here is the fuel plug. Right here is the fuel plug. Let's see if I can put a better light on that for you. Okay, right here is the fuel plug. And as you can see, the fuel plug sits right next to the frame of the car right here, and it's kind of hard to get to, so that's why you're going to need something in this shape. So here's all the bolts, 10mm bolts. Like I said, there's roughly 30 of them. Okay, I'm using the Torx bit T40. I'm about to take the drain plug out and just drain the transmission fluid. Simple as that. As soon as you break the seal, it just pours right on out. There that is. And this is what the drain plug looks like, which is identical to the fuel plug. So I'll go ahead and drain this and then get to the bolts. Okay, the transmission fluid is dripping out very slow, so I'm gonna put the drain plug back in, and then I'm gonna take all the 10mm bolts off. Okay, there's no more bolts holding this pan in. Go ahead and lower it real slow. And then here's your filter. And there's the transmission components. So I'm going to take the filter out, and you simply just grab it and pull it on down. Just do a little wiggling and it comes straight on out. It's just being held in there by 2 washers. Okay, right now I'm about to pour the transmission fluid into my drain pan, into my drain container, and you're gonna see just how much fluid stays in the pan when you just do a drain and don't drop the pan. Look at how much I'm pouring out. Okay, here's the pan. You want to clean your magnet. You want to get all this fluid out. And here's a little tip, a little side note. The fluid, here's your drain plug. The fluid has to be above this plug to drain out. So you can just imagine how much stays in here. It was at least, I don't know, it was about a quart. It was at least a quart that stayed just in the bottom of the pan. So you'll never get that out if you don't drop the pan. Now let's look at the filters. Now the filters look identical. Just the same filter, same design, same shape, same everything. Obviously this is a brand new filter, and there's the old used filter. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this filter open. I'm going to cut this filter open, and we're going to look at it and see just how clogged the filter element is. Okay, here's my transmission pan all clean. I cleaned the little magnet. I put my gasket on, I make sure it fits. I take some of the little bolts and I push them through just to hold the gasket in place. So you just go around, hand tighten them all, tighten it down to spec, and go ahead and fill it. Okay, now that I just put the pan back on, it's time to put your transmission fluid in. I'm using the Castrol Transmax because it has the Dextron. That's what I need for my car. Again, this is a 2005 Cadillac Escalade, a Cadillac STS. So whatever vehicle you're working on, make sure you use the proper transmission fluid. And this is the tool I'm gonna have to use. It's just a fluid pump. So you put one tip into the transmission container. You put the other tip into the transmission fill plug, and then you just pump it up and down, and it sucks it from the quart into the transmission. Back under the car, and I have the Torx T40 in the fill plug, and it's located directly across from the drain plug. As you can see, it's a very tight fit, and that's why I said you need this Allen shaped or an L-shaped T40. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to break the initial seal, and the initial tightness, and then I'll just twist it off with my fingers. That's the fill plug. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this and you put your holes, put the holes in the plug, put the other end in your transmission container. Okay, now before you go and start putting transmission fluid back in, which I know I need 4 quarts because that's how much was in my drain pan. But here's the thing, right now the car is sitting like this because I have it on ramps and it's sitting like this. So that means when you start filling in, transmission fluid in your drain pan, it will fill up and start coming out before you get to the 4 quarts. So you're gonna have to lift up the back tires and make your car level, and then go ahead and fill your transmission fluid so that your drain plug is level and that the transmission fluid doesn't pour on out. Okay, now I'm in the car. I just got done filling up the transmission pan with transmission fluid, and I'm going to start the car up, and then I'm going to cycle through each gear, you know, go from park to reverse, let it sit there for 3 seconds. I'm do that in each gear. I'm go all the way down, all the way up. I'm do that 2 or 3 times, and then I'm going to go down and check to make sure that there's no leaks. And the reason why you do this cycle is just so before you start driving, transmission fluid has already had an opportunity to go through each gear. So simply start the car up. Obviously hold your brake. Reverse. I'm going to do that a couple times, but right now I'm about to go check to see if it's leaking. Okay, there's your drain plug. It's not leaking anything. And then I don't know if you can see the fuel plug, but it's not leaking anything as well. So I'll go through, cycle through the gears, and go take it for a test drive, and then I'll be done. Okay, I'm holding the transmission filter that I just took out of the car. What I'm gonna go do, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm gonna pour water in here to see how it flows out, and then I'm cut it open so we can see just how clogged the element is. Okay, here I go pouring the water in. So I'll pour some water in, pour more water in. Look how it's trickling out. Look how it's trickling out. Alright, I just filled it up. And look at how clunky and all the gunk is coming out of there. You don't want all this going in your transmission. This is why you should always change your filter. Again, I'm just using my standard 4.5-inch angle grinder. I'm just going to cut all of the plastic off. I'm going to leave the little aluminum or metal casing on the bottom. Cut the plastic off, and then we'll take a look at it. Okay, looking at the bottom, it has these little grates, these little lines on it. I guess that just helps the flow of the fluid. Take the element out. Okay, here's the bottom of the filter pan. Just nothing, you know, just a little aluminum or whatever this material is made out of. No, nothing to that. But the filter itself, it's just, this is what you're gonna, hold on. This is all that you're going to ensure the life of your transmission is this thin piece of filter element. It looks about as thick as a layer of cardboard. Okay, I cut the filter element so you can get a little bit of, so you can get a better view of it. I don't know if you can see how thick it is, but it's about, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch. This stuff is pretty thick. It feels as if it's condensed cotton. It has a thickness to it. It's pretty hard to rip. Actually, I can't rip it. So it is built to last in my opinion, but just change your filter and you don't have to have this much material right here between a new transmission and keeping your old transmission. You don't want this to be the only thing that's standing between you having to buy a new transmission or just keeping one in your car. Just change your transmission filter and fluid at the regular intervals and you should be good. There's pretty much 3 ways to get your fluid changed. One, you can just take out the drain plug and let all the fluid come out. Another way is you can drop the pan and change the filter, which you saw me do. And the third way is you can go to a dealer and they hook up tubes and they will take all the old transmission fluid out and pump in all brand new, but they don't change the filter. The benefits of that one, you are getting brand new fluid, but you're still using the old filter. The benefits of just draining it yourself, you are getting fluid out, not that much, probably about a third. You just didn't have to pay a dealer, and in my opinion, the best one, even though you don't change all the fluid, you drop the pan, you get out probably half of the fluid, but you change this filter. Change your filter. Okay, think about your filter for a second. You have an air filter, an oil filter, and a fuel filter, and a transmission filter. You change your oil filter at every interval that you change your oil. Your fuel filter, it does last a little longer, but you still change it. Your air filter, it does last a little longer than your oil filter, but you still change them. Think about it. Your fuel filter is constantly getting new fuel, but the filter still gets dirty. Change your filter. Change your transmission filter. One last thing. If you were buying a brand new car and the dealer said, hey, in order for us to save some money for you, we're going to put brand new transmission fluid in with an old filter. You wouldn't go for that. So why would you go and have all the transmission fluid drained out, all brand new fluid put back in with the same old filter? Change your filter. Change your filter. So as usual, I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Short answer. You guys have a good one.